Where the fuck was Taker? Where the fuck was Taker? He was at a live show. Why wasn't he on Raw? Please, I really wanted him to be on Raw. And it's getting too close to WrestleMania 29 now. We need Undertaker to return. Please, just for a 20-minute match, 10-minute match. I just want to see Taker for the last time. But alright guys, Tom here, and welcome to my Raw review. I promised I'd do it. I said on my preview show that I was going to do a review for this week's Raw. I sometimes don't do it because I don't have time due to homework. I do get quite a lot of homework on Tuesday nights because I'm not American, so I don't watch it live. At the moment, I do watch it live in the holidays like I did last week, so I got my review up pretty much the day, so it was going up yesterday on a Tuesday instead of Wednesday today. So we've got our Raw review, and it was an absolute epic Raw, absolutely epic. We started off with Paul Heyman's fight with Mr. McMahon, which didn't even start. I thought they were going to have a proper ding match, but we just had like a little brawl. Paul Heyman said he was sorry, he was going to apologise, and then just started attacking Mr. McMahon, and then he hit him with his crutches, and then Mr. McMahon kind of got a slight advance onto Paul Heyman, and guess who came out like I predicted? Brock Lesnar. I said in my preview show that Brock Lesnar had been rumoured that he was in Texas, Dallas at the time. Sorry, not Texas, Dallas at the time, and Brock Lesnar was rumoured that he was going to appear on tonight's Raw, and yes, he did. He came out when Mr. McMahon was in the ring, and then guess who came out? Exactly like I predicted, Triple H. The game came storming out to an amazing pop. Both Brock Lesnar and Triple H got an absolute amazing pop, and then Brock Lesnar came up to the ramp and started attacking Triple H, sorry. And to be honest, the first part of the brawl was pretty shambolic. I mean, they didn't really work together at all in the brawl. It kind of looked kind of strange. It kind of looked like they were both kind of piled on each other. It kind of looked a bit dodgy. It didn't really flow together at the start, and then the proper brawl started. I mean, Triple H smashed Brock Lesnar twice into the pole. He was busted completely wide open. He had blood. Brock Lesnar, I'm talking about here, had blood streaming off his face, which is absolutely awesome. I like to see a bit of blood. Since we've now got the PG era, we honestly don't see it a lot. The last time I saw blood was probably back when CM Punk had a fight with Jerry the King Lawler, and Jerry the King Lawler managed to bust that wide open CM Punk in a cage match. Was nearly about 6 months ago, so it's quite strange to have blood on WWE nowadays, but Brock Lesnar apparently had 18 stitches needed to cover that up. So yeah, that's pretty interesting, and Triple H managed to throw Brock Lesnar over the barricade where Roman Reigns managed to spear Sheamus last week over the barricade, and Brock Lesnar went to try and hit. He was a bit super Brock Lesnar. He managed to get up from that and try and hit Triple H with a chair, and guess what happened? A huge spine buster onto the mat inside the ring, an amazing spine buster, and then Triple H hit Brock Lesnar with a chair. I'm not sure if this was Mr. McMahon's plan all along, whether he knew that Brock Lesnar was going to come out and then Triple H was going to come and save his father-in-law, or whether it was just coincidental and Triple H wanted to save Mr. McMahon. We don't know. We'll probably get to find out next week's Raw, but I thought that was an absolute awesome segment, the best segment ever to start off a Monday Night Raw in such a long time. It's absolutely epic, and I'll give that segment a 9 out of 10, apart from the dodgy brawl at the start, but it did definitely pick up, and I really like the fact that the blood came out and everything, and Brock Lesnar was still smiling after. Awesome segment. We're getting these two to face off at WrestleMania 29. Like I said, a rematch from SummerSlam, not really a pick for me, to be honest. It was a poor match at SummerSlam 2012, quite a lot of submission moves. It was all evolved around the two submission moves. So the one submission move by the Kimura lock by Brock Lesnar, and basically Triple H tried to counter that, and it was all kind of put around the submission maneuver. A very slow-paced match at SummerSlam 2012, so hopefully we have a very good match at WrestleMania 29, which is pretty quick-paced, because I do know Triple H puts on absolutely amazing WrestleMania 29 matches, and he just gets such a huge pop. It's absolutely insane. So I'm actually pretty pumped about the WrestleMania 29 match, and I'm interested about how it's going to lead up to WrestleMania 29. The next match, however, was Ryback versus Dolph Ziggler. And this match was really slow-paced. I thought Ryback was in complete control. And to be honest, the last few weeks I've been really liking the unpredictability. I mean, AJ got involved, and I thought Dolph Ziggler was simply just going to give a zigzag to Ryback, and Ryback was going to lose to Dolph Ziggler. But Ryback won. He's been on a bit of a losing streak. He lost to the Shield. He lost to the Shield at Elimination Chamber. He lost them at Raw last week. And basically, Ryback has not been doing very well at the moment. So I predicted that Ryback was going to get a win. He needed a win to get a push towards WrestleMania 29. I think it'll be Ryback, Sheamus, and Orton versus the Shield. at WrestleMania 29 because we got that segment later. But Ryback, he was absolutely dominant. The match wasn't great. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. Dolph Ziggler just had no chance. The crowd was absolutely terrible this week. They were so bad. It was so quiet. And that didn't help at all. But Ryback really didn't let Dolph Ziggler show what he was capable of. And it was just an old-fashioned beatdown, like JBL would say. It was just really bad. There were some decent moves by Ryback, but it was just really boring and predictable, except for the last bit, which I was talking about. Just vintage Ryback, I don't think it really put Dolph Ziggler in a good light. And leading up to WrestleMania 29, you want Dolph Ziggler to get in a decent push coming into WrestleMania 29. And putting him up against Ryback is not a good choice, but I do think that if Ryback, Orton and Sheamus don't team up against the Shield at WrestleMania 29, I think we could possibly get Ryback versus Ryback being Big E Langston, because Big E Langston got involved in this match when the referee had his back turned. To be honest, if I was a referee and it was real, I'd definitely be able to tell that Big E Langston flattened Ryback outside the ring. He just made such a commotion. But I do think that Big E Langston and Ryback would put on an absolute awesome match, and I do definitely think that this could be a possibility at WrestleMania 29. We'll have to see later on in the next few weeks leading up to WrestleMania 29, as we have 6 weeks left. The next thing that happened, or segment, was CM Punk proclaimed himself as God. Yes, I absolutely love this pipe bomb. CM Punk was basically saying that he was God, and he was basically making out as if CM Punk actually had a chance in the main event coming up later tonight. But we do know that CM Punk did lose that match, but I'm going to have a rant later on when I do talk about that match. I think the only reason why he did this segment was obviously for a promo cut, and just to make it look as if CM Punk did actually have a chance of winning this match, but kind of boosting himself up for the match and making the crowd think that he actually did have a chance of winning, even though he didn't. The next match was Mark Henry versus the Great Khali, which, sorry, I didn't rate the pipe bomb, or the Ryback versus, oh no I did, but the CM Punk pipe bomb, give that a 9 out of 10, that was awesome. CM Punk does awesome pipe bombs. The next match was Mark Henry versus the Great Khali. I'll probably give this a 5 out of 10, very, very poor match. These guys don't work together at all well. It was very slow paced, kind of like the Ryback versus Dolph Ziggler match. So I'd give that a 5 out of 10. Mark Henry won with the World's Strongest Slam. Decent World's Strongest Slam to beat the Great Khali. But to be honest, it wasn't great. I noticed that they didn't bring Natalya and Hornswoggle out just to kind of bring away the immaturity of the match and kind of make it kind of serious. But to be honest, they didn't work very well together. It wasn't entertaining at all. The crowd didn't help at all. The moves weren't very good. I mean, Khali just did a few slaps to Mark Henry. Next thing you knew it, Mark Henry had got him in for the World's Strongest Slam and had won 1, 2, 3. So a very poor match. The next match was the Miz TV. Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter basically gave a promo against the World Heavyweight Champion Alberto Del Rio and Ricardo Rodriguez as they appeared on the Miz's awesome show, Miz TV. I thought this was a pretty good segment, one of the best segments the past few weeks. Basically, Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter were saying about Alberto Del Rio, basically proclaiming that they thought that it wasn't personal towards Alberto Del Rio, but that they thought that Alberto Del Rio was only here for a job, like basically what they've been saying recently, and basically building up a bit of steam towards WrestleMania 29. That was pretty much it. Wasn't really much, but after that, after really nothing happened, nothing really broke out. After in the commercials on Raw, WWE Raw Active, we got basically Zeb Coulter was speaking to Miz, saying that he didn't make a very good interviewer, and that Jack Swagger came behind him and attacked the Miz. So pretty much that set up a match for later on the night where Jack Swagger would go and face somebody, which I'm not going to spoil yet, would face somebody later on in the night. The next match, for that segment, I'll probably give that an 8 out of 10. I thought it was pretty decent, built up a bit of steam between Alberto Del Rio and Jack Swagger, and Zeb Coulter is really, really good on the mic. I think he has very good potential in the WWE, even though he's been in the WWE before. The next match was Randy Orton defeating the United States Champion Antonio Cesaro. Pretty awesome match. I think this was one of the best matches of the nights. Randy Orton gave an absolutely awesome RKO. United States Champion Antonio Cesaro, absolutely impressive since he joined the WWE. Went for a European uppercut off the top rope, and guess what? Randy Orton was there to give an absolutely awesome RKO. Absolutely sublime. Randy Orton won it. It was out of nowhere. I wasn't even watching when the RKO happened. I turned straight away to the screen And I was so happy that Randy Orton hit an awesome RKO yet again. Super Randy Orton seems to win all the time, which is kind of annoying, except on Friday Night SmackDown, of course. He just seems to win all the time with an out-of-nowhere RKO. For this match, 9 out of 10. Awesome match. So impressed with Cesaro and Orton. They work very well in the ring together. They're powerhouses, very entertaining, and they get quite a big pop from their crowd, whether it's heel or face for Randy Orton. The next kind of segment was Sheamus presenting his Oscar snub. He was basically having a bit of a pop against Wade Barrett. Whether Sheamus could be in the run for the Intercontinental Championship, I do not know, but he was having a pop at Wade Barrett, basically saying that he's not a movie star. He didn't say anything in his movie. They were plugged free movies at this Raw. It was absolutely ridiculous. It was clearly just an advert towards Wade Barrett's film that he's in, which I honestly can't even remember what it was, because it wasn't even that interesting. He only appeared like once. I didn't even talk. Sheamus kind of having a bash against him. Wade Barrett came out and said Sheamus was basically jealous. For this segment, I'll probably give that about a 6 out of 10. Not great, not that good. Didn't really do anything for me, but could Sheamus be in line for an Intercontinental Championship if these lot don't all go against the Shield? Basically been saying Randy Orton, Sheamus, and who else was it? I honestly can't remember. Who was it? It was Sheamus, Randy Orton, and was it Ryback? Sorry, yeah, of course, Ryback. So, to be honest, sorry, that wasn't a fart, that was my chair squeaking. But could Sheamus be in line for the Intercontinental Championship? Could Randy Orton be in line for the United States Championship? And could Ryback, I don't know what really is happening to Ryback. Could he have a match against Big E Langston, or could we just have all these guys folding towards the Shield and having a match against the Shield? I don't know. The next match was R-Truth versus defeated Cody Rhodes, actually. To be honest, not very good. I think the best thing about this match was Damien Sandow at the side of the ring, just having a go at R-Truth. The match was pretty poor, not very interesting at all. To be honest, 5 out of 10 for this match, absolutely poor. Not very good at all. It was if they kind of worked on the Cena versus CM Punk match and the Brock Lesnar versus Triple H segments and possibly the CM Punk segment, but he doesn't even need rehearsal. He's just amazing on the mic. Apart from that, the rest of the matches were pretty poor. That's my rating of Raw this week, was kind of down. The next match was absolutely hilarious. Daniel Bryan couldn't see because he had a bag over his head. It kind of looked like he was going to get hanged. It kind of looked weird. And there was also Kane with no hand. He had one hand because basically they were backstage kind of bigging themselves up, saying that they could win. And then Bricky, basically Vicky Guerrero and Brad Mannix, said that they should actually do that in a match against the prime time players, which they already know they were going to face them. But they basically made him not. Daniel Bryan had a mask over his head so he couldn't see, and Kane had one hand. But, of course, Team Hell No still won against the Primetime players. The Primetime players really need a push. I think they need a push for the Tag Team Championships. The Tag Team division has really not kicked off since Royal Rumble, since Kane and Daniel Bryan just really aren't advertising the Tag Team Championships as well as I think they should be. So I think the Primetime players really do need a push, but Kane gave it a pretty poor choke slam, but it did win. Daniel Bryan, he dodged out of the way of Darren Young, but how did he do that if he had a bag on his head? So it must have been see-through. But to be honest, apart from that, okay match. Primetime players need a push. 6 out of 10 for that match. The next one was Sheamus and Randy Orton confronted the Shield. The Shield basically saying that they'd resolved the fact that they'd got away with John Cena. They've completely got rid of John Cena popularity, even though he had the main event spot on Raw. So I thought that was completely retarded. It kind of seems like they've ran out of ideas for the Shield, which is kind of frustrating because they're a very good tag team, triple tag team, and what they said was completely pointless. It didn't really make sense. But they were kind of having a pop at Sheamus as well, saying that they defeated him on Raw and at Elimination Chamber. Sheamus came out, said that he was going to start a fight on them, and then as soon as Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins went after Sheamus on the ramp, Randy Orton tapped Seth Rollins on the shoulder, RKO, Randy Orton ran away and basically stared down at the Shield. Whether, like I said earlier, if these lot are going to face the Shield at WrestleMania 29, are going to go their separate ways. Maybe they're just teasing us, WWE. But apart from that, I give that segment possibly a 8 out of 10. Yeah, I'd give that an 8 out of 10. The next match was Jack Swagger versus The Miz. And guess who won? Jack Swagger. It was a decent match. I thought it was okay. Pretty good high-flying moments. These guys are pretty fast-paced. Jack Swagger really didn't have a lot to shine except for the end. The Miz was pretty good. He's now got rid of his bandage on his arm. But apart from that, I thought The Miz did very, very well. Jack Swagger, of course, winning again. He's won every single match he's been in since he came back from the WWE like 3 weeks ago. They said it was 2 weeks ago, but it was actually 3 weeks ago. Just like to point that out, Michael Cole. But apart from that, pretty decent match. 8 out of 10. Not really a lot of memorable moments in this Raw apart from the Cena CM Punk matches, the Brock Lesnar and Triple H matches, and the CM Punk pipe bomb. So the last match, the main event for the #1 contender spot, the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 29 for Rock's WWE Championship. An absolutely amazing match. Super Cena won, guys. I literally swore so many times when Cena won. I was so annoyed. Cena kicked out of a pile driver. He kicked out of nearly 1 GTS, 2 Anaconda devices. Are you having a laugh? He actually kicked out of our 3 knees into the corner of the ring. It was absolutely ridiculous. Cena gave 2 FUs to CM Punk. This match, 10 out of 10 though. Absolutely incredible, amazing match. I'd rather see Cena and CM Punk go head to head at WrestleMania 29 rather than The Rock and John Cena. To be honest, I really wanted CM Punk to win. I think he put in 2 great matches against The Rock at Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber. But Cena won. Super Cena won. I was really annoyed because Cena kicked out of so many things. I've just said it. But it was really good, fast-paced, a lot of submission moves. It was the best of both worlds. What we really like to see, some ground moves and some awesome top rope moves. That kick off the rope that Cena does, where he flies off and knees him in the head. Absolutely awesome match. 10 out of 10. Awesome Raw. Very memorable, apart from a few matches like the Carly and Mark Henry and the Tag Team Championship match. The R-Truth and Cody Rhodes match, not great either. And the Sheamus, the first segment was pretty poor. But apart from that, it's so interesting. It's hyping up for WrestleMania 29. I've given this Raw a 9 out of 10. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, guys. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.